West. Jim West.
He has a style no one can touch.
Oh, he's so graceful.
A reputation no one can top.
He's so courageous.
And a wild side no one can tame.
Now I'm working.
Will Smith.
Nice hat.
Kevin Kline is Artemis Gordon. Kenneth Branagh and Salma Hayek. From the director of Men in Black. Wild Wild West. Available now on DVD and video cassette.
And here is the movie that was the reason why I started lately my Guilty Pleasure movie series. It's 1999's Wild Wild West with Will Smith and Kevin Kline. It's understandable that some people, even one average review on YouTube called it a simple stop the bad guy story because there's not really a whole lot to it. There are some references to the TV series, and the TV series has more class for sure. But yeah, this movie has shimmering production design, and it's got some cool steampunk gadgets. I'm not sure if everyone that saw it understood about steampunk or what steampunk is, but I could understand there if that was the only reason they didn't like it. But they say the leads lack chemistry, the special effects are the only good thing, and it's all cliche and all that. And so we have a little bit before the TV show took place, and and about a few years after the Civil War, and that's when it takes place. We have a sort of disfigured half man, half chair scientist that's very bitter towards the South because they lost the war, and bitter to the North, towards the North because they won. So very hateful, very racist. And people seem to think that they're like, oh, it's for people who like racism, which kind of offended me. I'm the last person in the world who likes racism. But director Barry Sonnenfeld said he tried to envision what a science fiction movie might be like if they could have produced it in the 1860s. Well, in the 1860s, there wasn't all this political correctness and all that. It makes people mad. It makes a lot of modern people mad, political incorrectness. But to tell you the truth, some of the put-downs toward the handicapped and not necessarily all the handicapped, but the bad guy and his put-downs were toward black people, but they get into these arguments full of all these epithets, and some of them were about as witty as the dialogue gets, to tell you the truth. So that's another reason it's a guilty pleasure. And they say Salma Hayek was useless. Well, later in the movie, she gives them some intel that leads them to, miles and miles away, which otherwise wouldn't have happened. So, of course, otherwise she is there for them to fight over. And she kind of uses everybody for her own ends, the good guys and the bad guys. So we have a giant metal spider, which a lot of people think is a stupid thing. Some people think it's the only good thing. It is the best part. The movie is a bit leisurely, but there are references to racism against black people. It's the Wild Wild West. And some people say it's the worst TV-based movie because Jim West was white. And one review brought up a good point, though. They said he didn't have a problem with Jim West being reimagined as black, but there was lost potential, lost opportunity, such as people in those days resenting a black guy for being a law enforcer. So and it doesn't have the finesse of the TV show at all, but the advertisements did live up to did live up. The movie lives up to that. It's a whole new West. If you take it that way, you might like it. The San Francisco Chronicle gave it a real good review, and some commentators on YouTube uploads of clips from it. They say, no matter what, I love this movie. One of my old high school graduating classmates did too. She loved the show and the movie, and that's how I am. But especially the show. But I've seen the movie a few times because I think it's pretty amusing. I mean, it's just a movie, Of course, an 80-foot tarantula, all that metal, would realistically have to almost be atomic powered or something. But yeah, it's a steampunk movie, and they could have had that if they want in a steampunk movie. They had that in the Wild Wild West Revisited. But what else can I say? The title song at the end by Will Smith is pretty good, and Kenneth Branagh totally hams it up. He looks like he's having a good time, playing, someone from the deep South. And it's good that they could get a Shakespearean type actor, to be in the movie. So all I can say is, statistically, if you've never seen it, there's a chance you'll hate it. But if not, you might possibly like it. It's just not, we're in the majority that like it. Patton Oswalt said something like, it's the worst movie he's ever seen and all that. So, until the next Guilty Pleasure movie, save me the aisle seat.